A man and a woman stood on top of the Eiffel Tower, every inch in love. If not with each other, then certainly with life itself. They were both grinning like schoolchildren. Actually, the woman was dressed exactly like a schoolgirl, with a short navy skirt, silk blouse tied with a red ribbon, and a neat straw hat perched on golden hair that was on very good terms with the breeze. The man was the kind of man you could only meet in Paris, with a long coat, an even longer scarf, and a lot of curling hair. The overall impression was of someone who had been completely knitted. Apart from the teeth, you could see a lot of the teeth because the man was always laughing.
"Nice, isn't it?"
the doctor said, waiting for a reaction from Romana. The doctor spent a lot of time waiting for a reaction from Romana. Sometimes even K9, his robot dog, could be more enthusiastic, although upon landing he'd heard talk of cobbled streets and refused to come out of the TARDIS, their time and space machine. Romana and the doctor were both Time Lords from the planet Gallifrey. He'd long ago left behind that world of august domes and hushed cloisters, running away to see the universe, accidentally saving most of it as he went. Romana had joined him fairly recently. A mere stripling of 125, she had come to him fresh out of the Time Lord Academy. She still had a lot of unlearning to do, and there was one problem with Romana. One big, nagging problem. Suddenly, for the first time in his many lives, the doctor rather feared that he was no longer the cool one. Which was why he'd been hoping to land somewhere impressive. He'd felt a tiny bit of a thrill when they'd landed in Paris. The city never failed.
"Well, I think it's nice,"
the doctor repeated, hopefully. Romana looked around and nodded. The doctor's heart sank towards his boots. "Well, it's not quite as you described it," Romana said politely.
"Oh?"
the doctor said carefully. The TARDIS was parked around the corner. With a bit of luck, they could be back there in 10 minutes and on their way somewhere else. Yes, that was it. Call it a misfire. Paris. Bad idea. Romana looked around again, sniffing the air, and her cautious smile broadened. "No, it's so much better." That was a relief.
"It's the only place in the universe where you can truly relax,"
said the doctor, truly relaxing. "It's marvellous." Romana sniffed the air again, getting a lot from it. Petrol fumes, wood smoke, rain on pavements, and, more than that, animals and vegetables being roasted over minerals. She exhaled. "That bouquet."
"What Paris has," the doctor said, warming to his subject, "is an ethos, a life, a—"
"Bouquet?" suggested Romana, being genuinely helpful.
"A spirit all of its own that must be savoured. Like a wine, it has a—"
"Bouquet?"
"It has a bouquet."
Having failed to find a better word, the doctor borrowed hers and pronounced it definitively.
"A bouquet. Exactly. Just like a good wine. Of course, you have to pick one of the vintage years."
"What year is this?" asked Romana, a suspicion forming.
Yes, well, it's 1979, actually. More of a table wine, shall we say? Ha! The randomizer is a useful device, but it lacks true discrimination."
He grinned, a broad welcome mat of a grin.
"Shall we sip it and see?"
"I'd be delighted." Turning away from the view, Romana couldn't help smiling, partly with relief. The doctor's definition of a vintage year undoubtedly meant alien invasion, several bloodbaths, and an exploding stately home. Just for once, she could do without all that. Just for once, it would be nice to land somewhere and just have fun. What was it that humans called it? A holiday. Yes, that was it. Shall we take the lift or fly? The doctor glanced around at the tourists they were sharing the viewing platform with.
"Let's not be ostentatious."
"All right then," she nodded. "Let's fly."
"That would look silly. We'll take the lift."
So they went and stood inside a box that was, for once, exactly the same size inside as outside. "Where are we going?" asked Romana.
"Are you speaking philosophically or geographically?"
The doctor watched as the ground, that lovely, exciting ground of Paris, slid gently closer. "Philosophically."
"Then we're going to lunch," he said firmly.